I was kidding about not being invited because I genuinely have no skills to go on this trip. It's a medical mission trip.
She's like, I would just be putting everyone at risk.
I would be the bitch in the hospital, so.
Welcome back to the pod.
Hey guys. I'm Barbie.
Oh, my name is Miguel, and we are missing Mandy.
But that's like not Mandy's fault.
It's not Mandy's fault. We're currently in Mexico, Barbie and I. And I just got out of surgery, just left the OR.
He had a hernia.
Testicular torsion. No, we took a trip to Mexico with a bunch of friends of ours. They're all surgeons, and they do this like medical mission every year.
Hold
in Mexico.
on. I feel like that makes it sound like we have a bunch of surgeon friends.
I do.
Oh, they're all your friends.
I mean, yeah. Barbie just is here by association.
That's true.
But no, my friend. I mean, they're like my friends' parents, but I consider them like friends too. But they're all like working as like surgeons, and every year they come out and they like help this small community in Mexico and provide free healthcare. This is my second year here in Mexico doing that. This is Barbie's first. We're shooting this like
a little docuseries coming to Netflix. Coming soon. Yeah.
And so it's been a lot of fun. And I always get like an opportunity to go into the operating room and to just like kind of like help and view. Last year, completely just passed out. I had never passed out in my life before.
Wait, why did you pass out?
Because I think they were doing like a hysterectomy or like, no, it was a hernia.
Okay.
It was a hernia, and I was just watching.
So they let you in?
Yeah, like I am scrubbed in like with the whole sponge. Like,
wow.
There's a certain way that you have to scrub in. And then like, don't touch me, I'm sterile.
Wow.
There's like the surge techs who like open the gloves for you, hand in, left hand in, don't touch anything. There's like a sterile field around your, and was like gowned, masked, hair, the whole like just glam.
Right.
Just
glammed up.
Surgical glam. And we started like, I lasted like 15 minutes in there.
But what were you doing? Because like you're not a surgeon. Clearly.
No.
What were you doing? Like,
well, for that one last year, I just view. Like, I'm just there on the table. I'm just looking.
A little looky-loo.
And I kind of just have both of my hands on the patient, like in that sterile field on the table. And I just get to view. Like, the doctors will talk me through everything that they're doing, and they'll like constantly check up on me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
and you're not even a medical student. You're getting like firsthand.
That's why I think it's so cool. Like, how many people can say that they have done that and
seen somebody's guts.
Seen somebody's guts.
Yeah.
Like Spill Your Guts out now on Spotify. Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh my god, I actually need to see the music video.
Is there a music video?
Yeah, the obsessed. I'm so obsessed with your ex.
But that was like a song that had already come out, right?
Actually, it was an exclusive song that only would come on like some of the vinyls if you bought them. It was like an extra song, but it wasn't like out. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So now she's like, oh, gut spilled. Like, here's all the songs that you didn't get unless you had bought a vinyl.
And there's like 4 new songs with them.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Anyways, let me wrap this one up. But they were like opening him up, and I don't know, guys. I think I locked my legs. I locked my knees.
Ooh,
and
that's rule number 1 of like.
I know, like, and they told me not to, but when they tell you like don't lock your knees.
Yeah, like even in choir.
Then I'm just focused on my knees.
Right.
And then boom, done. And then I remember my friend, she had told me, she's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I was already on the floor. Like I had already passed out.
Wow.
Blacked out, and I fell backwards and like hit my head.
That's why you act the way that you act.
No.
Wow.
But I thought it was so funny because I tried to like play it off like I didn't know that I had passed out yet.
Wow.
And they just looked at me and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. What do you mean?" And
I'm chilling. Taking a nap.
And I was literally already on the floor.
That's crazy.
So like one of the local nurses, right, from Mexico, she was like, "Oh my god, like, are you okay?" Like, And then I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. And then she was like, what happened? And I was like, I'm not like a medical student. She's like, you're not a medical student?
She's like, who let this man in here?
She's like, who the fuck are you?
Arrest him immediately.
Why are you fucking in here?
So true. Why are you in there? Like, do you not feel like weird that you're in there?
I don't
like as not a medical student.
You know how you go to like a museum?
Yeah.
And like you pay for a day pass?
That's what you feel like.
Like you know you go to like the California Science Center.
So true.
Like let me tell you a story. You go to the California Science Center in LA. If you know, you know. You get a ticket.
Yeah.
And then the first thing I always do, Body Works.
The big lady.
The big lady.
Like the 10.
Who I always thought was
I'm
was
gonna
a
be
guy.
honest. I just feel like that big lady is not the same. Like that big robot lady that's like, hello, this is my stomach is not the same as
She's like,
staring at
welcome
like a
to
bloody
Body Works.
hernia.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like to me, I don't know. Maybe I thought that it was like the same kind of vibe.
I would have thought that like you're okay with looking at movies with like violence, like a lot of blood, guts, gore. I would have thought you wouldn't have passed out because you like that stuff.
I mean, I'll watch it, but that doesn't mean like I won't like.
Oh,
like,
you look away?
Oh my god!
Wow, I didn't know that.
Like if somebody gets shot, I like flinch.
No way.
Like my head literally like,
Yeah.
as if I got shot. Like, I watch a movie and if somebody gets shot, I throw my head
No,
back.
because that's crazy. Because I feel like for me, like everybody makes fun of me because I'm very like
Oh,
squeamish.
you are very squeamish.
I'm very squeamish around blood. Like you mentioned blood, you mentioned veins. I literally feel my knees going weak. I'm like, ew. Like obviously, like I don't understand what some days I'm stronger than other days. I don't know. It's just my hormones. I don't know. I'm just kidding. It's the moon. I don't fucking know. But like there's sometimes that like you mention blood, I'm like fine. And sometimes when you mention like something and I'll be like stop, like literally stop. Or like every time I have to go to the doctors and they give me a shot or they have to like take my blood or whatever, I'm like laughing in the very uncomfortable one. They're like, are you gonna pass out? I'm like, no.
But you really
like,
feel like you're gonna pass out.
no, I just feel so like I never feel like I'm gonna pass out, but I just feel very weak. Like I can't explain it that everything feels weak. Maybe that's what passing out is. But it just feels like no, because
But you've never passed out.
I've never passed out.
But you get like wobbly knees.
I get a little shaky knees.
I feel like that's like the first step.
Yeah, I get very shaky. I've never passed out though, but like I've never been the person like, you know, biology class, let's dissect a pig. No, not me. I'm not gonna be there. You know what I mean? So I was actually shocked that like doing this trip, they were like, okay, you need to be in the surgical room. I gotta be filming these doctors. There's blood out. There's things like that, and I have not quaked. I haven't shaken.
But are you looking at it?
The thing is, like, yeah, I'm not like, because why would I want footage of that? Why would I want footage of somebody's like guts being open? I don't think anybody wants to look at that. That's not. So I'm avoiding it. But every once in a while, I kind of want to test my limits. So I do like take a little glance. I'm like, okay, I'm not freaked out. Like I saw like a whole uterus like on a tray, and I was like, okay, you know, I was able to look.
It was big, huh?
Yeah.
It's like that big fat purple thing.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So I was surprised that I'm not like acting the way that I usually act, but I just feel like maybe I have like an override that's just like, oh, you have a job to do, override. You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like I would say like it's almost like walking onto a movie set and you're just looking at props.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm telling myself. I'm like, it's not real. It's fine.
Yeah, like these people.
Versus like me, it's like, oh god, I don't know. I just like I hate when people.
Or
talk
maybe
about
you just
blood.
like stick the camera in there and then you don't even like you just look away and hope you get the shot.
No, I mean I'm yeah, I don't know, but it's just weird because like yeah, when people talk about blood, usually it could just be about anything. Like they'll be talking about like, did you know your heart and the arteries and blah blah blah. I literally start feeling weak. I'm like, can you guys not talk about this? And my
But
friends,
like, do you fuck with Body Works at the California? What happened to that show?
Bath and Body Works.
No, the show's literally called Body Works.
Is it really?
And I forgot what the girl's name is.
I don't know, but yeah, it's still there. We went a few years ago.
No, it was more than a few years ago. That was
2000.
like what, 14?
18? No, we went
No
with our friend
way.
Andrea. Yeah, we did.
It wasn't that recent.
Yes, it was.
Oh,
That's-
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That was 6 years ago. That's not a couple years.
To me? Yeah, so anyways, that's literally just a robot, like what, like a 50-foot robot for kids to look at.
It's huge, guys. If you
It's
haven't been,
huge.
you're like sitting in this room. There's like this 50-foot like lady who's like spread out, like legs open, like, and she has like her stomach is like open, and then she's just like, hello, like my name is Becca, or something like that. And then there's like a really scary part where like she's playing soccer with the kid, right? Because she's like trying to learn about what these parts of her body are. And then the kid's playing soccer and she's on the field like running. And it's like this whole like your heart gets.
Oh, yeah.
And then she starts like freaking out. She thinks that she's like seizing and it like scares everybody in the
Oh
audience.
my god, I don't even remember that part.
What?
Yeah. But I do remember going when I was really little, being like, whoa.
I love
this
that
is
place.
Crazy.
But surgery is not the same as this.
Yeah. it's not
And
the
so
same.
this year, like we were just at the hospital. I scrubbed in again because I thought I could do it again. And
so embarrassing because I'm in there filming. Like I'm trying to get the action shots. I'm trying to get the close up of the surgeons. I look over and I just hear
like worried about me.
Commotion. They're like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I literally was like, "This is so embarrassing."
But do you think sometimes I think that they only did that because these are the same surgeons that we had to come with last year, so they kind of knew my history, falling backwards.
And they still let you in.
And
that's crazy.
But the difference was this year. I scrubbed in, did the whole thing, sat, and they were like, "Let's get him a chair this time." Like we were doing somebody's, we were getting a lipoma out of his hand or something, and so we.
So wait, a lipoma is like a non-cancerous fat lump. It's just like a fat lump that like goes on like the surface of your skin. On not the surface, but like under your skin.
Like a skin tag.
No, that's skin tag is on top. Lipoma is like under. So like there'll just be like a bump, and you're like, "What is this?" And it's just fat. It's just like a weird fat bump.
Love that.
Like there's just like a weird growth under your skin, but it's not like a tumor. It's not cancerous.
It's benign.
Like, it's benign, and they have to take it out. Apparently, they can pop it out like a pimple.
Oh.
It's so gross.
But we're like prepping this guy, and I'm holding his hand, right? This isn't like breaking HIPAA violations, right? There's no way. I haven't said a name or anything.
You haven't said anything. For all you know, we can make you this shit up. Put it on our asses and on the podcast.
So like he has this thing on his hand, and like I'm sitting down by his hand. It's like down, but I didn't know that he wasn't like he was locally under. Does that make sense? So like he wasn't passed out. Like he was still awake.
That's crazy.
And so that kind of scared me because I didn't know that. So then when they were injecting him with lidocaine, he like flinched, and then I freaked out because I was like, "Oh my god, this man is awake."
Yeah.
And then when the surgeon started like cutting the lipoma,
ew,
he like felt it, and so I was kind of like, okay.
Wait, that's bad though. He's not supposed to feel it, right?
Well, no, but that's when they were like,
well, let's
get him some more stuff. And then I felt like I was pre passing out. I was like, okay.
No, like I could see it. Like there was like
apparently I was sweating.
You were like sweating a lot. Like, I could see, like, glistening sweat all around your eyes, and I was like, yo, I was like...
But, like, guys, I was in there. Like, I was Dr. Miranda Bailey. I was Dr. Meredith Grey. Seattle Team 6 here. And they kept... And this is what I wanted to say. I was like, everybody was so worried about me, which, like, honestly, love them. Thank you so much for, like, letting me back in and, like, trying again and, like, checking up on me, because that's obviously, like, what I... But do you think that sometimes I wonder like if them constantly checking up on me made me second guess myself and like
no I'm sorry, but you it seems like you have a history of passing out and then you tried again and you're gonna pass out. I don't think
like maybe I scared myself so much because they were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
Maybe, but I just feel like maybe you just weren't cut out for this.
I'm just not cut out to be a surgeon,
and I'm sorry.
Obviously. But like what I think is, I mean, look, I get to go home and say like I've been in an operating room, I've been there, and I've like done things in that operating room.
To me it was just crazy because like Miguel's about to pass out because there's like sweat and he's like kind of dazed and like, "Are you okay?" And you're like, yeah, I just.
I didn't sound like that. I literally was like, "I'm fine. I don't think I'm gonna pass out, but I think it's my time to go."
Right. And then
I wasn't like, "Guys, I'm gonna pass out."
There's a man literally like with his guts open on the table and they're all like making sure Miguel's okay, and I was like, this is so
I'm the surgical princess.
So I have some footage of Miguel, like one of the nurses like sitting Miguel down and like blowing like a fan on his face, like making sure he's okay. While some dude's like his guts are out. Like it's just crazy.
Have you seen like Modern Family? Like the gay couple that's in there? And there's like not the redheaded one, the other one, who's always like the dramatic one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why, that just reminded me of that.
That was literally you. I was like, bro,
I've never seen Modern Family, but there's like an episode where he's like, where their child is stuck in the car, and he's like screaming. He's like, "I'm gonna break the fucking window!" And they're like, "Don't do that." He like trips and falls over.
That's funny. I haven't actually seen it. It looks funny though.
That's literally me.
Yeah, no, but it's been interesting. Honestly, I am proud of myself for not like, being too grossed out by any of the surgery stuff. Of course, like I'm not like staring right at it, but being in the OR, not freaking out when I see blood and stuff like that. And it's been I'm like tired. Like it's been a few days now and I'm tired. I'm ready to go home.
I mean, we've been here like over a week.
Yeah, I'm ready to go home. I got a lot of footage and a lot of like ups and downs too, as far as like, cause like they kind of like asked me to shoot. It's not a documentary. Okay, I'll be talking about I'm like, I'm filming a documentary. technically it's not, right? It's more just kind of like...
I mean, but you can make it a documentary.
I could make it a doc. And I was like, this whole time, I'm like, where's the story? Searching for the story. I feel like that's my biggest, like, But, yeah, just learning about, like, you know, we're a 2-person team, and it's first time actually getting, like, full production, if that makes sense. Usually I'm, like, a videographer. Like, no audio, you know, just, like, slow motion. Like, this is, like...
everything. We had, like lights. We had...
I brought lights, I rented out like a boom mic, all these things, but like obviously there's always one thing that goes wrong like per day, you know? So,
and I think it's even harder because like this isn't being filmed like where we have control.
Yeah.
Or we can have like the resources, like if we shot something in LA, we could go to the store, like pick something up and like...
So true. Yeah, there's...
Here, like it's everything that we brought, like that's it.
Yeah. And like the guy I rented like my gimbal from, like the...
He didn't even include like...
He didn't include the screw that I needed, and I was like, bro, and I was able to like manage it with like my own stuff, but I just was like, dude, this is so dumb. And like the stand that we got didn't fit the mic thingy that we have, and that wasn't like really... That was because we use our podcast mics. I was like, we're going cheap as we can, but I was like, oh shit, it doesn't fit the boom pole. Like, no. Like,
and I think they broke it.
No. Well,
sorry, Richie.
Is this Richie's? I thought we bought it.
I think he bought the stands.
Stop.
We brought our mics.
Okay, we didn't break it, Richie. Miguel's just being...
Just send us an invoice.
No, we didn't break it. Why are you saying things that are not true? What do you mean?
Well, we'll look at it.
You know what? Let's talk about that, because Miguel's actually been in charge of audio like 80% of the time, so if it's broken, it's not me.
Well, realistically, when we put it in the bag,
right.
You took it apart, and I gave you the washer.
No, you took it apart, and you gave me
and I gave you the 2 pieces.
And I have them. And then I gave them back to you,
So maybe we just put it on wrong? Or maybe it's not broken. I don't know.
I don't think it's broken. Let Richie, please.
Richie, got this
If
out.
you're listening to this right, Richie, don't worry. What was I saying? Oh, I'm just saying, it's just been, I feel like it's been a journey. Ups and downs. I don't think it's going to be the most perfect production, but honestly, I'm proud of myself for, you know, some of the stuff that we've gotten. But just, audio is like, just learning.
Audio is always like a hard thing.
Yeah. It's just crazy because you can't do everything, you know? I can't do everything. I'm one woman. So... I'm looking for a team. If anybody out there wants to join the Barbie team, I'm looking for like an editor and an audio person and like an assistant camera person. Now, obviously not, I'm doing a fake promo, but I'm just saying like genuinely if someone's listening, I would love to like be on my roster of people I'd ask for help, let me know. Because I just feel like for so long I've been a one-woman show, and it's getting to the point where I want to do bigger stuff than what I've been doing, and I'm like, I can't do it by myself. Like, it's just not...
It's not practical.
Yeah. But it's been fun.
A learning lesson. I think it's super... it's super cool. And, like, the people that brought you here and like, brought me here are, like, just, like, great people all around. And everything that we've, like, shown them or done for them so far, they've just been completely, like, blown out of the water.
True. They're, like, so happy.
Yeah, they're, like, so happy. So I think it was, like, a good way to start. The other thing that I thought was really interesting is, like... Sometimes people will say like these missions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we come to another country to help.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought something that we could talk about is kind of like the idea of like white saviorism.
Ooh.
I understand. I get like my thing is like I understand it, right? Like people come to other people's countries. And quote unquote help and some of the things that they always talk about is like, did you really help, like, or are you just doing it for your own? And because sometimes what people will say is that there's like they'll come and help, but it'll only last for that couple of days that they're there, and then when they leave, they're just back to what they were doing before, right? Because it's not consistent care.
Can I just like, but I feel like I'm on board with that. I'm like usually against mission trips. I've been on so many mission trips in my life, and you know, as soon as like I started gaining consciousness, I was like, actually this is like, how is this helping? Because most of the mission trips that we went on maybe had a different emphasis. I feel like usually they were like, we're gonna build a church, we're gonna host vacation Bible school, it was very much like, let's convert people to Jesus. And yeah, and then stuff like, let's construct a building, where it's like, in my opinion, it's like, there is no, what do you call it? It's not like any of the people coming to construct this building, this church for these people, are professional construction workers, right? It's just a bunch of teenagers, pastors, whatever. Glad they're doing the work, I'm sure, but like, I feel like it's selfish maybe because it's like I just really want to get like a trip. Like I get to like visit a new country. I get to feel good that I did something. But how are you a professional? Like there could be other ways. I think in my opinion there could be other ways to share your resources because I feel like people who go on mission trips they save up at least $1,500.
Yeah.
Imagine if like those 20 people who saved up $1,500, we're talking about like $20,000 at least, right? What if they just gave it to people in Mexico? Like for example, if they're going to Mexico,
instead of spending it on
the travel and the hotel and like let's pay people in Mexico to construct this church. Like let's actually
you're building jobs.
Like let's actually like if they want and again and that's like with a layer of accepting like we're also trying to convert people. Well, like obviously that's another debate. Be like but I'm just saying at the very least it does seem to me a little problematic that you're like let's construct this church for these people, but like we don't actually have any skills and we just want to spend $20,000 to get us all here. Like it just feels so But I feel like the difference with this one is that like everybody coming is in the medical field, like and there's a few of us like me. I'm like a filmmaker, but like I have a purpose. You have a purpose. Everybody's in the medical field, whether they be a nurse, anesthesiologist, surgeon, blah blah blah. They're all coming, and they're providing free healthcare where people would normally have to pay for these things
and can't afford it.
So I feel like that's actually a benefit versus like I don't know.
Yeah, I think I 100% because we had done a couple mission trips in the past, and it was definitely like a different emphasis, especially like religiously, right? It was like we're gonna do this vacation Bible school or something like that. But I think
I'm like, what did we do?
Like, what are we doing?
Like when we went to Panama,
like
there was some medical.
There was, but none of us were medical professionals. We were all just people who had like hands, which is cool, right? Like, and that's not like a bad thing.
I guess.
I mean, we were also kids, so like.
But that's the thing. It's like, why aren't they getting medical professionals? Like, why are they getting a bunch of kids? That's where it feels like a little bit like self-serving more than it is others.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't speak on that one just because we were so young, and I actually forgot, what we were doing there. But I know we built like a church. That's what I remember we were a part of. Yeah. I'm not really sure what the medical part of it was, if there was one. But here, I think it's really cool because, again, like Barbie said, like it's literally like surgeons who are taking time, who aren't getting paid for this. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, they're paying to come here. And they're also like, we brought 50 like huge bags of like medical equipment, like medicine, needles, like surgical tools, like this, that, whatever you like think goes into like providing a surgery, we had it in those bags, and that stuff's not free. I mean, yeah, there's like donated stuff too, and there's like a whole foundation behind this, but for a whole week from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., they're just nonstop doing surgeries. They're doing hernias. They're doing hysterectomies. I mean, they're like delivering babies at some points and like all these different things at no cost to the community here in Mexico. Yeah. And even then, they're bringing like residents and like students to come and like help out as well. And even us, right? Like last year I was doing some video and photo, but at the same time, like I was like translating at one point, and I was working in the pharmacy, and oh my God, you know how they tell you that like you can never read like doctors' handwriting? It's so true. And like you're trying to translate these medications like Ozempic. Not
Ozempic. I'm so mad.
I was trying to think of something.
What kind of surgeons are they doing? I was literally one of the surgeons here. She's a general surgeon and also works in plastics. And I was like, wait, can I get a BBL?
Can you pencil me in?
Put me on the roster. Like, shit.
But it's like it's so crazy because it really is like all hands on deck, and you're telling these people like, hey, take this medication once a day as needed, after breakfast or whatever. And like, I have no medical background, but
I mean, that's where honestly, to me, it feels more gray area. I'm like, why are you a pharmacy tech? Because I really like this trip because 80-90% of them are medical professionals. But then when someone wants me to help in the pharmacy tech room, I kind of feel hesitant because I'm like, not that it's, if they need help, they need help. I'm sure you can do it, but I just feel like, is that bad? I don't know. Like,
no, I don't think it's bad because it's not like I'm prescribing it, right? Okay. Like,
yeah.
You're in reality, like they just saw the doctor and the doctor writes on the card like what they need, how often they need it. So you're just doing the part of like, you're just doing the part of fulfilling the prescription. You're just saying, the doctor said to take this, you're going to take it 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
And in reality, like, I just think that I like to help in any way that I can. And to me, I think it's, like, super cool to go home and I don't know, for me, it, like, resets, like, my whole year after a trip. Like, 100%. Like, there's, like, a night that we did on Wednesday where we all kind of just come together and talk about, like, our experience so far and, like, things that we've seen, things that kind of have, like, hurt us, like, what's been difficult. And to see everybody get together and talk about their difficulties or, like, where they... And then, like, some people have these stories that are just, like, whoa, okay, this... Like, that's what makes it worth it for you to come. That's like the like you know when you do these trips, you're supposed to be like filled and also fill other. It's supposed to go like both ways.
Yeah.
And the experiences that you have with these people, and I just think it's like so cool, like their stories, like that's your filling, and then you're also like helping people. So I just feel like it goes both ways.
Yeah, and I think some people, touching back on white saviorism, like I think internet people, honestly, mostly, they're so black and white thinking about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it's like, you're on a mission trip,
white saviorism.
That's white saviorism, blah, 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 blah. Like, literally, like, demonizing healthcare.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like some people who are chronically online could hear this and be like, no, I can't believe they're promoting white savior. And it's like, dude, like, chill. Like,
if only you knew.
Chill out, you know, like, you shouldn't shame people from helping other people. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
That's also kind of stupid. Sorry, cancel me. I think it's a little stupid to be like, oh, this is so awful because we happen to be American. Like, I don't think it's awful at all, especially if you see the work that's being done. These conversations need to have that nuance and be like, okay, what is white saviorism? You know, maybe it's, again, controversial, but like if you're just building a church and holding like Bible school and all these things and then leaving after like, you know, forming attachment with some kids and stuff like, and then leaving them back to where they were, it's kind of, that feels more like, okay, what did you do other than, you know? And of course there's gonna be some like Christians out there being like, what do you mean we just delivered the most important message in the whole world? Okay, whatever. You know, that I feel like there's things like that, and also there's non-Christian trips that are also like, they're ecotourism. I don't know what it's called, but also could be damaging because again, people who are not medical professionals are going out and being like, just because I have more money, let me go help these people medically. Yeah. And it's not adding up. It's like, you're not a pharmacist. You're not a, you know, whatever it is. They think they take one day of training and you can suddenly do what a doctor does in 14 years. I don't think so. So I feel like that's where I feel like the problem comes in, where people feel like, oh, in order to feel good about myself, for traveling to whatever country I want to go to, let me also perform some sort of thing that I have no qualification in. That's where I feel like it's not okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus over here, it's like we have actual like surgeons out here, like doctors,
like who are going back to work on Monday morning.
Literally, yeah. So I just feel like there's a difference. So to like demonize every single type of mission, quote unquote mission trip, is kind of stupid.
Like white saviorism, The Blind Side.
What?
The movie The Blind Side?
Oh, I'm like, what do you mean? White savior is definitely a thing. I'm not saying that's not a thing, but I'm just saying like the conversation is not just like black and white. You're American and you're helping people in Mexico. White saviorism. Yeah. Like, bro, shut the fuck up. Bro, please. Although, you know, and it is touchy. It is a touchy subject because like even sometimes when I'm interviewing people, I'm like, ooh, does this sound? But I'm like, you know,
it's
like,
just such.
We care so much about what something sounds like or looks like than what it actually, the good that's actually happening.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just like our little update. We're leaving Mexico tomorrow morning, actually, and then we're back in Los Angeles.
I'm back in the arms of my man.
Oh my god.
My man. I gotta mention him every episode. I'm like, I listen. I'm like, damn, there's not an episode where I don't mention this fool. But I'm like, what do you want?
I get it.
I'm in love.
I love that. We'll be back in LA tomorrow. But in the meantime, we want to call our third host.
The third hoe.
The third hoe of this podcast. Let's see if she answers.
We're checking in from Los Angeles,
This is a live check-in from Los Angeles. The call doesn't go through.
So funny.
We are doing a live check-in from Los Angeles.
Woo!
From Mandy, the third host of our podcast. Mandy, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Are you recording separately?
Yeah.
Yay! Mandy, what's he?
So Mandy, what is the update in Los Angeles? What is happening at the studio?
What's
is everything
going down in Mandy Town?
Okay, Mandy Town is under construction.
Ew. What does that mean? Like,
I'm getting some work done.
like waxed?
No, I'm kidding. Guys, nothing's happening here. Also, where was the invite? I couldn't.
What, to Mexico?
Yeah, kind of crazy how, like, last time we didn't invite Miguel, and this time it was like, don't invite Mandy.
But notice how I'm on both trips, so that means I'm special.
Okay, that means, Miguel, when are we planning a trip?
I mean, I'm down. Like,
That's
you want to
great.
come to Seattle next week?
Not really.
Oh, well, there's our answer. Mandy, so what are your thoughts to today's episode? We talked about like white saviorism and how I passed out in the ER last year and almost passed out this year, but I didn't.
No, that's my thing too. Like, mission trips. I feel like I grew up going to so many mission trips, and I don't know. It's like in our religion too. It's like this is our service to the world or whatever. But the amount of homes and schools I built as a 17-year-old with no skills. Like, I know those hoes are still not standing. I know they're burned to the ground. Like, there's no way.
Man,
There's no way.
We know the rain took it out.
That's what I'm saying. I'm
those
like,
foundations gone.
I was like, who let me do that? Like,
Yeah.
who let me do that?
Yeah, that's basically what we were saying. Like, when mission trips, not all mission trips are bad. I just think that they're problematic when you get a bunch of unqualified people to do something that requires a qualified job, and it becomes white saviorism because the only qualification you would have in that case is that you're white or that you're American or that you have more money, but you're not actually qualified for this job. So I don't know why you think that you're, helping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot in, like, I don't know, social work. We would talk a lot about that too, like white saviorism, and it's like, because like if you're in any helping profession, a lot of times it stems from white saviorism, and like the initial foundations are very racist. So I could talk about a lot of stuff like that. And one of the things I learned is, like, you know how like Tom's shoes was
Where you'd buy a pair and they'd give a pair to like a kid in Africa.
yeah, so like turns out Tom's shoes was like ruining the economies of like all the nations they sent shoes to, because basically environmentally they would just get shipped so many fucking shoes, and they just like had like a whole landfill of these fucking shoes because like nobody needs that many shoes.
Really?
Yeah, and then also it fucked up the economy because like all the people who were like cobblers or like shoemakers who like actually had those jobs were taken away from them because like nobody needed fucking shoes because they just had millions of Toms, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like,
But is that like Tom's fault though?
I also heard something that, like, I don't know if this is correct, honestly, where's Richie? But like, I don't know if this is correct, but I remember hearing like those kids that didn't have shoes, they didn't need shoes. Like, it was kind of like our perception of what's culturally like what we need. I could be wrong, maybe they didn't need the shoes, but I feel like
maybe they weren't even the type to wear shoes.
Yeah, like, you know how there's different cultures and stuff like that, and they were totally chill with not wearing shoes, basically. There's people in like the Amazon, the indigenous tribes, they don't need shoes.
In the Amazon.
Right? They're chilling with their sandals or with their bare feet. They don't need shoes, and it's like a very like
the last thing
Western, like a Western perspective. Be like, oh my god, they don't have shoes, and they're like, yeah, dude, I don't need shoes. I'm actually like fine. So I thought I remember reading that like a long time ago when it was being like, oh, Tom's shoes is doing more harm than good. Like, they're, people don't need shoes like that, and they're acting like it's the greatest. I don't know. I don't think it was like on purpose. I don't know. I don't know.
no, that's why it's like, the thing is, the problem with like most like service projects that people create, a lot of times you're coming in with your Western culture and creating something when you don't understand the culture. So I feel like the only appropriate mission trips or service projects are ones where it's already being done by the people who are in that area. And you want to help out by funding, or you want to help out with manpower, whatever that is, but like not stepping in and creating your own program.
Your own problem, your own program. Yeah.
And I think that's even true in LA, because like a lot of times it's like, one day I want to start my own nonprofit or whatever. And a lot of the problems with nonprofits or service things in LA is like, you come in and create this whole new program and you take away funding, like government funding from other programs that are already existing. So it's like people want to do their own thing. People want to be like the person to change things, right? And they don't realize like there's already people doing this groundwork who understand that population. And even though you're trying to help, it's like if you don't do the background research of who these people are and what's already being done, then you're just like they don't need more of this thing, you know? So then you're just taking away government funding and like spreading it to all these other programs, you know? But like, it's like hard, you know? Because it's like, people try to be good, you know?
Yeah, I feel like it's a very hard line to like walk sometimes where it's like, what can I do that's not going to come off as like white saviorism? Because I mean, I'm sure that a lot of these people who may stumble into like white saviorism, like they mean well. I don't know. I doubt that they.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like everybody means well. Like I don't think most people, I think, have good intentions. But one of the things, like I remember in college we were talking about like racism and stuff like that, and how like people can do things with good intentions, but if the outcome is bad, then the intentions aren't as important. It's more important what the outcome is and how people are. Right. And so like with social work or like even programs when people are given grants and stuff, you're expected to do research on like how is this actually affecting people? What are the actual results of this? Or else it's like, why are we wasting our money and time if it's actually going to be more damaging, you know? So I think you have, if you want to do service, you definitely have to do it ethically, which is more work. But like, sorry, if you want to do good things, you gotta put in
it. You gotta put in the work. It's not like a silly little trip. Yeah,
it's not a silly little trip. And I was kidding about not being invited because I genuinely have no skills to go on this trip. It's a medical mission trip.
She's like, I would just be putting everyone at risk.
I would be the bitch in the hospital. So
honestly, dude, they were doing like, you know, like hysterectomies and stuff because like these women have fibroids. And I was like, literally, Mandy, back in the day when
book me an appointment.
Mandy, when we were in Argentina, we thought, I don't think we mentioned this, like we have mentioned it, but like she was having pain and we thought she had fibroids. It was just so funny. It just brought me back.
Turns out I actually have a deformity and have 2 uteruses. So let me know if they have any procedures for that over there, and I'll book
like
them.
To remove.
I don't.
I feel like
you can do it. It's not possible.
You can't do it.
No, because they're not like fully separated. They're just kind of like
what do you call them?
Joined.
They're like twins. She's got the twins. She's got the twins on the chest and the uterus.
Yeah.
Is fibrosis the same thing as like cystic fibrosis?
Fibroids.
Is fibroids the same thing as like cystic fibrosis?
Is like a lung disease.
Oh.
Stupid bitch.
How did you get invited on this mission trip? That's what I want to know.
That's what I was wondering.
Hey!
Just for him to pass out. So funny.
Well, Mandy, thank you so much for
giving us your wisdom.
I
feel like we just called in a special guest, like
I know.
like a very wise special guest. We were yapping, and you're out here with a social work degree.
You said, "Let me call in an actual white person."
But a white person with a degree in social work.
You were just a specialist in so many ways. Not only do you have a master's degree in social work, but you're also white.
Who happens to be white?
Explain yourself.
And a woman.
White saviorism degree.
Okay, thank you so much. I think we're gonna wrap this up.
Love you guys. Be safe, please.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Why did she say be safe? Was she being racist?
Was that speaking on the cultural
perception that white people have on Mexico?
Find out on next week's episode.
No, wait, actually though, before we cancel, it was so funny. Miguel and I were like visiting this lady's house because we were gonna interview her before her surgery. And we're in the back of this truck, and dude, the vibes were kind of off. Like, we went to like this like town, and all the men in that town, they were just kind of like staring at us as we're driving through, not in a friendly way. And the lady in the front in Spanish, she's like, "Oh yeah, we're kind of scaring them right now, lol." And then you know the guy in the front's like, "Why? Why are we scaring them?" She's like, "Oh, you know, like a lot of people have been like killed and kidnapped here. Why?" Oh, she's like, "Well, like, cause of the narcos, like, duh." And then I remember me and Miguel looked at her, she's like, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, they're everywhere. Yeah, all the time. And she's like, and we're pulling up in like a big white truck, so I kind of get it.
I know, it was like a really nice truck.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god! I was like, bro, what the f? So I was just like, bro. And then,
but I think I think the interesting part is like they're so used to like narcos being around and everything, as if they just are part of like the daily life.
Like,
but they leave them alone. They don't
they
because
don't bother you if you're not involved.
And she was saying too, she was like, that they actually like not protect you, but they stay out of your way even more because you're obviously like they know that you're providing like actual help to the community, and so I mean I feel safe.
I feel
but do I kind of like feel a little weird when we like have cameras out and stuff like that, like just because you never know, you know, like I don't know. I mean, same thing in Los Angeles, right? Like, you don't leave anything in your car. Like, I hide everything, too.
Yeah, I don't feel unsafe in this area at all.
I just
thought it was so funny that, like, she just said it so, like...
They're so cash. Like,
yeah,
the
narcos. I was like, oh.
What the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? I have to laugh. So, yeah, yes, Mandy, we'll be careful.
Yeah, we'll be careful.
We'll keep it open eye.
I'll keep an eye for Selena. Anyways, guys, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Miguel. You can find me on Instagram at MiguelXAntonio.
My name is Barbie. You can find me at Created by Barbie, and you can see the little sneak peeks of what we've been working on.
We've been working on here in Mexico, and Mandy is... What is her?
She's... at Amanda Harrison. Bitch,
at Amanda Harrison, like 3 H's?
Or something. Nobody cares, honestly, at this point.
Honestly. Okay, bye, guys.
All right. Tune in next week where we talk about...
Fuck.
Yeah.
Tune in next week when we invite a surgeon to talk about if we can really extract one of Mandy's uteruses. The Lord Far Squad pod is hosted by Amanda Harrison, Miguel Antonio, and Barbie Chavez. Listen wherever podcasts are available. Our producer is Richard Cunningham. Our theme song is produced by Lorena Latorre. Our artwork is by Joshua Estrada. Follow the Lord Far Squad podcast on Instagram at Lord Far Squad pod. Feel free to send us your questions to the Lord Far Squad podcast at gmail.com.